Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this broadcast. The President of the United States will address the nation. And on came Roosevelt, our hero.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
I interpret the will of Congress and of the people. We shall gain triumphant victory, so help us God. As soon as that was over with, I said to my two buddies, I said, tomorrow morning I'm skipping school. I'm going down and join the Marine Corps.
When did you become a flamethrower?
I was issued a flamethrower to begin with in the 5th Division because that's what we were going to train for. My job was, of course, to knock out pillboxes, fortifications.
You made a deal with God
I made a deal with God. I made a pledge. When I hit the beach, I was terrified. I had my face right down on the sand. I was so scared. Everything. The screaming and the yelling. I just said, Lord, I said, I don't know much about you at all. I know you exist. I know you are. And if you could help me and get me all this, I don't know, serve you the rest of my life. Iwo Jima was all volcanic. So they had to tunnel in everywhere they went, and it was solid and hard, to get in and stay in. They lived in it. They lived in there. The idea was to block them up if we could, and the only way we could do it was to close it in. Now the engineers followed us. We would do our best to get them out, and then when we left, they come along, blow the thing in. A lot of screaming and yelling on both sides. It's just a lot of screaming and yelling, There was hairy nights.
Sounds like it.
Then we get up in the morning, have to go out and count them. Yeah. Make sure they're dead. Not a good job. Bellowing, firing what we thought they might be in, then we'd move along. Now, a lot of them were on fire and come running out. Bang, bang, we drop them. But it was a different kind of a fight. We never fought like that on an island before. That was the fight at night. Scary, screaming, yelling. And when we reached the top, I counted roughly 50 Japanese dead soldiers on top of that island. And we had to crawl over them to get to the mouth of the cave. And we set that thing off, and it billowed with fire, just billowed inside. And then it was over. They got the flag all rigged up, and we're through fighting, so we're walking right to the top. And when we get up to the crest and stand there, from here to that wall, there it goes up. Man, it was a shock. And everybody saw that flag go up out in the bay. All those ships out there let go in the air with tracers and rockets. And our boys that were on the north fighting with the airstrip while we're doing Suribachi, they started opening up with tracers. It was just like a spectacle.
You left Iwo Jima. Come back home to the U.S.
Wasn't the same.
It wasn't.
It's never the same. It is never the same. Even when I come home after the war, it was totally different. I don't know what there is about it. Our convictions are different. I think that we were affected by, we were brainwashed. And that's what you have to be if you're going to face the enemy. You get so much training, you know this, that it trains your mind to thinking. You yield to him. That's the way it is. Kill or be killed.
Do you know what they would do to a guy like me if I used a flamethrower in combat today? I'd probably be in prison.
Yeah. It isn't that you don't love your family. It's just that they don't sympathize with you. If you expect to get a little pity from your family, forget about it.
Well, Don, a lot of veterans today have problems readjusting back into civilian life. How did you, what were your struggles adjusting back into civilian life back then?
I have to tell you this. This
traumatic stress.
Yes, stress. We never had that. I don't, every now and then, at least 4 of us would get together that fought from Detroit. We made it back. And some were replacements. And we never had that. We got together and talked old Marine stuff over again, hashed it over again. We couldn't adjust because we were thinking different. Our lives were, they had 4 years of us, and they brainwashed us. Might as well admit it. Everything was Marine Corps. Our talk was all Marine talk. I still use it. And another Marine will understand what you're talking about, too, with some of the stuff you really bring up. They know what you're saying. You'll never forget it. It's a brainwash, but it's got to be, that's training. Trained to kill the enemy. Hate him. And so you carry that stuff with you. But it's, I will say this. I guess I had a couple of nightmares after I was home for a week or two. My mother said that she had to wake me up. And I said, you did? She said, yeah. You were moaning and groaning and yelling. And then she said, who's such and such? I said, well, why you ask that? Because you were yelling his name out. I said, what was the name? And then I knew who she was talking about. So I might have been doing it, yeah. But it didn't last long. That's all we had. But you just have to calm down and adjust to people. These are different people. They're your people, your family. The Marine Corps had you for 4 years.
Did they have a lot of questions for you?
No, they're afraid to ask questions.
What about your father?
No, my dad didn't say much, no.
Was he proud of you?
Yeah, when he was drinking, he'd sit down with my brother. My brother was in the Navy. He got out a little after me. And we'd talk war stuff when he was drinking. Sober, he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't carry a conversation. I could never understand him. My brother went right after him and died.
What do you mean?
Alcohol, tobacco, all that stuff. He just went right at it. My oldest boy started smoking, got on weeds, dope, alcohol. Everybody loved that guy. He just ruined his life. Died.